Good morning, and once again, welcome back to the Vaper Rooms. Because it is a Magic Monday, that also does not also mean restock day. It does also mean that you are graced with my presence today. Hello. But today, as always, big welcome back to the Vaper Rooms because it is the beginning of a week, beginning of a fresh week, should I rephrase that. And it does mean restock day, as I said before. So that does mean that all your returning favourites will be back once again. Maybe with some new additions as well. With new additions, couldn't tell you for a certainty. I make a list of what we need, but I don't make a list of what's new. So you don't know what could turn up. But it's always amazing. It's always amazing. And today, what have I got to talk about? Well, a good place to start would always be with my pretty much weekendly report on the weather. It's cold. It's cold. So, wrap up warm. Wrap up warm. If you haven't been outside today and you're watching this video, wrap up. It's quite cold out there. But it is a little bit doom and gloom looking, to be quite honest. It is a little bit grey out there. But don't ever let that stop you from doing what you need to do. Pardon me. I had a bit of a dry throat. But, yeah, it's cold. It looks a bit doom and gloom. It's not the greatest looking day. But, as I always say, don't let a bit of crap weather put you off from doing what you need to do. Get stuff done. Even if it's small bits that you've neglected to do for a little while, get them done. Get them done. Because you'll feel so much better after getting it done. I'm one of those main people who kind of gets all the big things done and then puts off all the little stuff myself. I'm one of those people. And do you know what? The amount of positive feeling you get from just doing the small stuff that you've neglected for a while, and you think to yourself, sure, I'm going to get it done today. I'm going to knuckle down, get it done. And then afterwards you feel so much better about yourself. So get it done, and then treat yourself afterwards. I always do. But today, as you can see, just based off the small section of the juice shelf that you see in here, is we are pretty much fully stocked still. So you're probably thinking, what the hell are you going to get on this restock day? It's a very good question. But just because it does look like we are fully stocked, which we are, doesn't necessarily mean that we can't always get extra bits for your lovely selves out there. But another thing to talk about today is, you've probably seen me with this contraption today, and over the past couple of days, to be honest, probably the past couple of weeks. It's what we call, you've heard it in the description of the Instagram and Facebook feeds, of a squonk mod. You're probably thinking to yourself, squonk? What the hell is that? It sounds weird. Well, it is a bit strange. Not very many people use them nowadays, but essentially, just to give you a little breakdown today of what they are, essentially it's mod, as always, paired usually with some form of rebuildable. Now, more popular with RDAs, but you can use most modern RDTAs nowadays because they do come with the Squonk 510 pins with them as well. But a basic description of them is the additive. It's essentially just like a normal kit. You can get mechanical ones, you can get regulated ones, so on and so forth. But the differences between a standard kit and something like this is the addition of this thing. That is, essentially is a bottle of juice. So what happens is this bottle of juice just lives in here. Fill it up, very much how you fill your tank up whenever it gets low. But all it does, so I'll unscrew my dripper just to show you. If you haven't seen one of these up close before, essentially you get a small hole at the bottom of your 510 connection. So they don't usually come with it, you have to replace it yourself, but they mostly come with it in the spares. So when you get like your spare grub nuts, Phillips head or flathead screws, your spare seals, stuff like that, it usually comes in there. It's quite an elongated connection pin. But what happens is, if I press this bottle of juice in, you can just see it at the top there. Yes, that is juice. So essentially, you pair it with an RDA, and instead of having to drip every couple of pulls, you essentially just press a bottle underneath your, or underneath or in your mod. So it's basically what I like to describe the lazy man, or the lazy man's version of dripping. And that's the many reasons why I like it, because my main conundrum with drippers, and everyone will tell you this, is I don't like having to carry around a bottle and every 7 pulls just do. It gets annoying to me over time. There's a lot of people who love doing it, and you know what? All the power to them, because if that's what you like and it's doing its job, then who can argue? But for me, it does get sort of a bit long in the tooth. So squonk mods are perfect for something like this. Well, in this scenario, because instead of having to carry around a giant bottle of whatever and having to do it every 7 times, all I have to do is go, ooh, that was a little bit dry. Push. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. Boom. And that is pretty much ready. So in pretty much the small motion of my thumb, I have now gone from a dry RDA to a fully juiced RDA and ready to use. And tasting as lovely as ever. And a lot of people do ask as well about, like, I've heard the questions before. What do you use coil-wise? Like, what's your preferences on coils? Because while I'm on the topic of rebuildables, I might as well jump onto this bandwagon. Essentially, it's a preference. So with rebuildable coils, there's no sort of guidance on wattage. There's no guidance on how many wraps you can have. It's basically just down to a preference and what the minimum and maximum capabilities of whatever mod you're using can handle. So in my case, most of my mods do follow a similar spec, so I do work with pretty much the same coils constantly. But my sort of preferences are anything pretty much Clapton based. So you've got standard Claptons, fused flat, fused twisted Claptons, so on and so forth. The list gets progressively even longer, and I'm pretty sure if I had it on a piece of paper, it would roll out the door. But as a very good example, these particular coils, they might be a little bit hard to see because camera focus is a little bit of a bugger, but these are what you call interlock Claptons. So essentially they are a standard Clapton of 5 wraps. It can be more, it can be less, but in this example, it's 5 wrap Clapton wire, and it is basically spaced out, but in between the space is just simple round wire. So I know the material types as well. So as for the material types in my example, is my Claptons, my space Claptons, are essentially Canthal, standard Canthal. But the simple round wire in the middle is a nichrome. To be more specific, it is Ni80. So if you're looking to sort of mimic this build, then standard Clapton wire on a fairly thin gauge, I'd hazard a guess at about 28. Quite small. And, well, wrapped. So in the centre, I reckon it's about 24, 26. And it's wrapped with between 30 and 28. And the simple round nichrome wire in the spaces of it is actually 24 gauge nichrome. And this, on a dual coil setup, is ohming out at about 0.14. So that's what my mod is telling me right there. As always, it might be a little bit hard to see because camera focus doesn't particularly like me. But 0.14 on dual coil. So if you're looking at a single, you're probably looking around about the just under the 0.4 mark. So around about 0.36, 0.38. But that's pretty much it today, guys. Just a simple explanation on what squonk mods are, the reasons for having them, and it's restock day. So if I'm seeing you later on today, all well and good. I will see you soon. Maybe you can take a good look around our store and see if we can find anything in particular for you today. And if you're not joining us today because you've got things going on, don't worry about it. We will see you soon. Get your stuff done. Get things sorted. And we will see you soon. Hopefully your days are filled with a lot of positivity, a lot of joy, a lot of warmth, a lot of success, a lot of fun, all that malarkey. And as always, if I'm seeing you later on today, until then, I will see you soon.